Hi, Nick here, and today we're going to go over a twangy country style lick that could work in bluegrass or maybe a folk song as well. And what we're doing is we're playing in the key of G here, like over a G7 chord. And we're using open strings as part of our run. So let's do a close-up now and break this down, and then I'll talk about how you might play this run in different contexts. Okay, so let's show you the notes of this run, and pay attention to the fingering because while there may be other ways to finger it, if you're fingering it an inefficient way, then it's going to be hard to play through it smoothly. So the way that works for me, and again, you can experiment and see if you like another way better, that's fine. But I like to start off with my second finger here on the second string, 6th fret. Play that note, slide up to the 8th fret. Use our first finger for the first string, 7th fret. Back to the second string at the 8th fret, sliding back down to the 6th fret. Then we're going to play first string open. Then we're going to play the third finger. It's going to be on the 3rd string, 7th fret, 2nd string open, second finger is on the 4th string, 7th fret, 3rd string open. Then we're going to have first finger on the 5th string, 7th fret. Then we're going to play the 4th string open and the 3rd string open. So again, the first part in slow motion. And notice that both of these notes are ringing out at the same time, the second string note and that first string open note. And that's the pattern that we're going to follow through the rest of the riff, is having a string where we're fretting a note and an open string ringing out together. And as we descend and fret notes on the lower strings, some of the upper strings will still be ringing out, which is part of what gives this kind of a cool sound. So then okay, so notice how those strings are ringing out as we work our way down there. Rhythmically, I think we could count it like this: 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Okay? So if you started on the 1, then you have a little space there at the end. And what you might do is strum a G chord or just hit the G bass note on the 3rd fret of the 6th string there, which kind of gives you a G chord because these other strings will still be ringing from the riff. So that might be one way that you could end with this bass note here. But anyway, let's look at the right hand now. Okay, so I'm playing with a thumb pick and kind of finger style here. If you just play with flat picking or maybe hybrid picking, then you can try to figure out a way that works for you. This is just how I do it. And what I'm doing is I'm using my thumb and first finger to play these pairs of strings as we work towards the bass strings. I'm just kind of moving the position along as we go. So starting off here, 2nd string with the thumb, that slide, and then we've got first string with the index finger, back to thumb, and then we got the first string open with the index finger again. So then we're going to shift down with our thumb to get the 3rd string, index gets the 2nd string, thumb gets the 4th string, index gets the 3rd string, thumb gets the 5th string, index gets the 4th, middle gets the 3rd string. So again, in slow motion, and kind of notice how the thumb and index are shifting down. The last one, we have that roll. Trying to get the angle where you can see it there. Where it's strings 5, 4, 3 with thumb, index, middle. But before that, we're just using thumb and index. So Again, thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, index, middle. So that's a fingering that you could use on your right hand to go along with this riff. Okay, so that's the mechanics of how you play the run. Let's look at it real quick. One thing to point out is that it can be played fast or slow, and it might sound good when you play it slowly. Sounds okay. Something else that we can do with this riff is just generally cap it off with a G bass note here on the 6th string, 3rd fret. And then as these open strings are still ringing out from the riff, it kind of gives you a G chord, and you're just hitting the bass note there to kind of bring in the bottom below that G. That's nice with all those strings still ringing out. One more thing that you could try with this riff is we're starting off on the 1 beat, usually the way we count it out, but you could have the 3rd string as a pickup note ringing out over the first part of the riff. And that sounds kind of nice as well. Again, we can cap it off with a G bass note there. And something else you could do is use this in sort of a kickoff style when you're transitioning from a G to a C chord. So, for example, okay. So that kind of makes it a nice transition there. And what we're doing with that is playing that normally and then just doing a walk up there from a G to a C chord. Pretty standard type of a walk up. So that gives you a few ideas of how you might use this riff. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Using the 2nd and 1st finger for this part leaves us with our 2nd finger here, and then that lets us take our 3rd finger and walk it down. And what we're kind of doing is walking from our 3rd to the 2nd to the 1st finger as we play through this riff. And I think that kind of makes it roll off the tongue a little bit better, so to speak. Something else that may or may not be fun is trying to loop that first part of the riff a couple times through. Okay, a little bit slower now.